Section 8.2 is usually a favorite of students because it is very familiar, something that you have likely seen before. We'll be talking about three measures of central tendency: mean, median, and mode. So given some data set, some collection of data, essentially a set of numbers or values, the mean is the average of these numbers. So to calculate it, you just add them all together and then divide by the number of numbers that you had. So the number of values in the data set. Median is the middle value. So if you put all of your values in order from smallest to greatest, the one that appears in the middle is the median. If you do have more than one number, so there's no exact middle, so maybe you have an even number of values, then you would take the average of the two numbers that appear in the middle. So just to give a quick example of what I mean there, if my data set only had the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, there's no clear middle between these numbers. So I would take these two in the middle and average them together. So add them together, divide them by 2, and that would be the median of this set. The mode is the number that appears most often. So listing all of our numbers, the number that appears the most is the mode of that set. So I want to do two examples here. One that you have in your homework that may be a little different than the way that you're used to seeing a question that's asking you to find the average is this one with the information given to you in a frequency table. So the frequency table doesn't right out tell me the number of total defective discs. So we kind of have to do a little work to figure that out first. I know that they inspected a total of 1,130 boxes, and that's the total of these numbers on the right side of this table or chart. So out of those 1,130 boxes that they inspected, 450 of them had no defective discs. 395 of the boxes had just one defective disc. And one defective disc for 395 boxes. That's a total of 395 defective discs. If 255 of them had two defective discs, and 2 times 255, that gives me a total of 510 defective discs. 25 of them had 3 defective discs, so 3 times 25, that's a total of 75 defective discs there. And then 5 of them had 4 defective discs, so the 5 times 4 gives me another 20 defective discs. All right, so now I've got to add all of these together. So this is the total number of defective discs. So I'm going to add them all up. Get the calculator. 395 plus 510 plus 75 plus 20 is 1,000. So there's 1,000 defective discs out of 1,130 that they tested or that they inspected. So I'm going to divide by 1130. And that's going to give me 0.88. They want me to round to 2 decimal places, so 0.88 is the average number of defective discs per box. All right, another example here. This one is a little different than just calculate the average. They are giving us 4 scores that Henry has already scored on 4 exams. And he wants to figure out what he needs to get on the 5th exam for the average of all of his exams to be 80. So we know to calculate the average, we would add up all the exams and divide by the number of exams. So here, there's going to be a total of 5. So the first one, he got 84. The second one, he got 77. Going and add them. Third one, he got 84. The fourth one, he got 69. And then we don't know about that fourth one. So we're just gonna put a placeholder in there. But he wants, once we calculate the average, we would have to divide that by 5. It's 5 exams. We want that to be equal to 80. Okay, so I just kind of created an equation here that I can solve to get this missing test score. Okay, so I put in 4 test scores that I know, some variable for the one that I don't know, calculating the average of those. I'm adding up all the test scores, dividing by the total number of tests, and I want that to be equal to 80. So let's see if we can solve this. We can combine all of these numbers here. Let's do that. 84 plus 77 plus 84 plus 69 is 314 plus x, all divided by 5. We want that to equal 80. So now let's get rid of that 5 in the denominator so we can cancel it out by multiplying both sides of this equation by 5. So multiplying all of this by 5, we'll cancel those, which means I also need to multiply by 5 over here. So I get 314 plus x equals 400 on the right side. So now to get the x by itself, I just need to subtract off this 314. So subtracting it on both sides. So that x, or the missing test score, has to be equal to 86. So if he wants to keep an average of 80 on all of these tests, he needs his next test score to be 86.